Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Allison's Corner. Of course, I'm Allison, your host, and I'm excited to kick off another season with you guys. So, this episode marks the season 6 premiere, and I can't believe that we have been doing this for 6 seasons so far. It's crazy. And while we took a bit of like a short break, I'm excited to get back into, just the swing of things and just see what season 6 and 2025, a whole new year, has to offer. So, if you're new here, thank you for tuning in. This podcast, of course, is a space where we dive into personal growth, wellness, relationships, and any and everything in between. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, welcome back, friend, and Happy New Year. So, this is the first episode of 2025, and there is something so refreshing about starting a new year. I really love New Year's because it feels like a bit of a blank canvas. I feel like you finally get the chance to reset, refocus, just reimagine what's possible for the coming year. So, today, we're talking all about fresh starts, my word of the year, and how I plan to make 2025 a year of growth and empowerment. So go ahead and grab your notebook if you're the reflective type, get a cup of your favorite drink, tea, coffee, or other. I will not judge, and just settle in. So let's get into it. Let's talk about fresh starts. I really want to talk about that for a moment because, again, I just feel like it's something magical about flipping the calendar to January 1st. It's like you open a brand new book and you get to pretty much write your story from scratch. But here's the thing, a fresh start doesn't mean that you have to leave behind who you are or where you've been. Because for me, I used to think that when you started fresh, it meant that you were pretty much erasing your past. So you were forgetting your mistakes, the disappointments that came along the way, or just things that I didn't feel like I accomplished in the year prior. But now, as I've kind of, gotten older, I do see it a lot differently. And a fresh start to me is less about wiping the slate clean and it's more about building on the lessons that I've learned from years prior. So it's about taking my experiences as stepping stones and trying to create something even better. So, as we step into this new year, as we begin 2025, I really want y'all to ask yourself this simple question: what does a fresh start look like to you? Because for me, it's about showing up for myself in new ways. It's about being more intentional about my goals. It's about leaning into the word that I have chosen to guide me this year, which is the word change. So, just really quickly, every year, y'all know I choose a word where I want to really hone in on and I really want to focus, what I want to accomplish in that new year. And for this year, that word is change. And truthfully, it took quite some time for me to settle on this word. I was bouncing around between a couple, but change, it just seemed to really stick with me and it really gave into what I really wanted to do this year. So why change? The reason why is because for me 2025 is about taking ownership of my growth. It's about recognizing my strengths and also my weaknesses. And it's about me making decisions from a place of confidence, but also giving myself permission to dream big and to act on those dreams. Because I'm going to try to change every aspect of my life into something meaningful by the time 2025 is over. I want to see change erected in the most positive way, y'all. Okay, I was talking to God today and I told him that I want him to blow my mind and shake me to my core and have blessing on blessing on blessing on blessing, and door opens and door opens and door opens and door opens on top of door openings, and pretty much just change my perspective on all things in the best way possible. Because for me, you know, I realized I held myself back a lot more than I really should have. And it was probably a little bit of self-doubt. It was probably fear of failure or me just trying to wait for that perfect moment, but I kept standing in my own way in 2024. And so now this year in 2025, I'm not doing that anymore. And change to me means reclaiming my power and creating opportunities rather than waiting for them to come to me. And I want to empower myself to change in all areas of my life, professionally, personally, creatively. And I want change to happen to y'all too. That's why this season it's packed with episodes to inspire growth, reflection, and action, because together you and I, we're going to accomplish anything that we set our minds to, and we're going to stop self-imposing all of those limits, okay? And we're going to step into our full potential. But before we do all of that, I do want to just break down some things for you guys and how I'm going to take actionable steps into making my goals a reality this year. So, how am I taking change from a word into an action? And I've broken it down in a few key areas. So, for me, the first one that I really want to prioritize is personal growth. As y'all know, I started therapy again. So, of course, I am prioritizing therapy because mental wellness is the foundation of everything. And I'm also focusing on my physical health by training for my first 5K. Yes, my very first one. If you have been following me and my fitness journey, you know that me doing this is a very big deal. I am not a runner, but for the first time in a very long time, I have been running my butt off and it feels good. It gives me the sense that I can accomplish anything. And even though I'm no Usain Bolt, y'all, I am seeing the little bit of progress that I'm making physically in my running. And y'all can't tell me that I'm not the fastest person in the world, okay? But in all honesty, I am a big believer that the mind and the body, they are one. One cannot exist without the other. And when one is out of whack, the other is also out of whack. So this year, I am challenging myself to hold myself accountable in both my mental and physical health and really put forth an effort in making some strides. Number two is my professional growth. I really want to expand Allison's Corner by landing partnerships and sponsorships and reaching more listeners. I have been reaching out and talking to a few people, but I'm putting it out there into the universe that someone will sponsor us, okay? And I'm putting it out there that more listeners will tune into us in 2025. And I know for many of you who have been here for a while, this may not seem like a hard ask, but I am praying more people listen and they learn about what we have going on here in our little corner of the internet. And lastly, number three, I think this is the area where I'm a little bit more excited about. This is the area of creative growth. So this year, I'm diving into new creative projects, one of which is my new virtual book club. It's called Allison and Friends Book Club, and we have already selected our first book for the month of January. If you are interested in reading and you want to join us, please go ahead and follow us on our Instagram page at Allison and Friends Book Club. The information will be in our episode description box. It's been something I've been dreaming about for a really long time. And in 2025, I'm finally doing it. And also, we have decided to create a newsletter just for our Allison's Corner family. Our newsletter will consist of more information about the episode for that week, some of my own personal insights, and even a sneak peek into the next episode of the season. And for me, as y'all know, again, as someone who loves to not only read but also write, I felt it best to express my inner thoughts with the same people who I already express my inner thoughts to. So please subscribe to our newsletter. Again, of course, this information will be in our episode description box. Now, for each of those areas, I have set small, manageable goals. So, for example, when it comes to my 5K training, I've broken it down into weekly milestones. And when it comes to my newsletter, I'm dedicating a certain day each week to write, because I really do want to emphasize that growth doesn't happen all at once. It's really about being consistent and intentional with the steps that you take. So, if you're planning your own fresh start, I encourage you to think about the small steps that you can take today that will lead to big changes over time, because growth doesn't have to always feel so overwhelming. It just has to feel possible. So, as we begin this new season, as well as this new year, I really want this to resonate with you that growth is a journey and not a destination. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. You just really need to start. And in all honesty, I am committing to making 2025 a year of both change and growth. And I really hope that you'll join me as well. So, whether your word of the year is empower, heal, love, or just something else, let that word guide you. Let it remind you of what is possible and what is to come. And before we end, I want to end today's episode with a quote by Joyce Meyer. She says, "It's never too late for a new beginning in your life." Thank you for tuning in to Allison's Corner. This season is going to be special, and I am so glad you're here for the ride. Don't forget to subscribe, share the podcast with a friend, and connect with me on Instagram as well as on YouTube. Of course, go ahead and check out more things that we have going on as far as our book club is concerned, as well about our newsletter. Let's make 2025 our year. And of course, God bless. Have an amazing day. And thank you for listening to Allison's Corner.